Now, I know to some of you, this question of this video is absolutely insane to even comprehend. After all, Erling Haaland, on top of breaking the Premier League goal scoring record in a single season, in his first season in quote-unquote the best league in the world, on top of scoring 86 goals in 89 games for Dortmund, on top of scoring 88 goals in 94 games for Man City, on top of scoring 25 goals and getting 5 assists in 26 games this season alone in the Premier League, and in his previous game, even scoring 4 goals against Wolves. How can someone possibly question if the 6'4", lethal finisher, extremely quick striker that has scored a total of 223 professional goals by the age of just 23 and having already won a treble in Erling Haaland, how can someone question if he is actually world class? How is he not, in most people's eyes, not only world class, but one of the best players we have ever seen? Is the people that saying he's not world class just Man City haters, or do they have a point? Well, that's what we'll be talking about today. So what's going on, everyone? You are listening to Back of the Net here. I hope you're all doing well. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Look, I think everyone, even the biggest Erling Haaland hater, has to admit that Erling Haaland is a world-class goal scorer. Arguably already at 23, one of the best pure out-and-out goal scorers that football has ever seen. The stats speak for themselves. Erling is capable of scoring with his left foot, his right foot, his head, heck, probably even his nose at this point. Erling in the box has better movements than most people give him credit for. I would say world-class movements in the box, and he always seems to be open and in open space in the box, regardless of where the ball is or what the game situation is. Outside of the box, he is a questionable player, but as far as a pure number 9, as a pure goal scorer, as your number 1 target man, there is no one better at scoring goals and playing that role. No one can deny that. So why even question if Erling Haaland is world class then, right? Well, outside of scoring goals, everything else in Haaland's game, I think we can all agree, is well below average for a Premier League player, let alone a world-class player. Now, the argument is that a striker's role is to score goals. And if Erling Haaland is a world-class goal scorer and he is world-class at his role, then why isn't he seen as a world-class player? And I hear that, and to be honest, I get that point of view 100%. But even a goalkeeper whose main role is stopping shots from turning into goals has to be very good in other areas to be considered world-class. For example, a goalkeeper has to lead the defense, has to claim crosses. Modern goalkeepers have to be able to use their feet to play out from the back and help with the overall build-up play. A striker has similar duties that aren't necessarily their main role. Like, a striker has to have some really good hold-up play, which Haaland isn't horrible at, but against bigger, stronger defenders, he often gets bullied into losing the ball and failing with hold-up play. A striker should also be able to win contested headers regardless of where the football is on the field. Again, something Haaland isn't horrible at, but not something that he is very good at against stronger, bigger defenders like Virgil van Dijk or William Saliba. Haaland's overall passing has a lot to be desired, and overall his overall general football play is just not amazing. And on top of all of this, strikers also need to score clutch goals against big teams to be considered world class, something Haaland isn't amazing at either. This season, Haaland has only scored 1 goal against the current top 4. Haaland has also never got a goal or an assist in a final for Man City, despite playing 5 of them, including 2 Community Shield. Haaland has struggled to score or make an impact in massive games, and regardless of how good you are, that will always be brought up in the world-class debate. So on top of having lackluster play outside of the box, outside of scoring goals, and on top of not performing in big games, I'm sure even the biggest Haaland lovers can see the holes in his game and can see why people are hesitant to call him a world-class player. Well, where do I stand on it? I'm an Arsenal fan, so therefore I'm semi-neutral. Where do I think Haaland stands on the world-class debate? Well, I think Haaland is world-class. Listen, I know he doesn't bring anything to the team outside of scoring goals. I hear that. But when goals are the most important metric in football, heck, goals can win you trophies, goals can win you games. When that is the most important metric at football, and you are the best in the world at doing the most important thing in football, that is scoring goals, when teams have to game plan around you, when you have already been the main reason for your team winning a treble at just 23 years old. Well, even as an Arsenal fan, even as someone who isn't a Haaland quote-unquote lover, I don't see how Haaland can be regarded as anything less than world-class. He is by far and away a world-class number 9, but even as a world-class player, he he has to be considered that. He has already been awarded the best award, and he should have probably been awarded the Ballon d'Or by now. I know all the downsides of Haaland's game. He isn't a great link-up play striker. He isn't great at passing. He isn't great outside of the box. But for how good he is inside the box, for how good he is at scoring goals and winning his team games, to say he is not world class is just absolutely absurd in my mind. How Haaland can be regarded as anything less than world class for as good as he is in the box, I have no idea. Yes, he needs to improve still, of course, but so does every other player around world football. Haaland's goal scoring only comes around once in a generation. The last pure goal scorer we've seen at this level is probably Cristiano Ronaldo when he played at a number 9 position for Real Madrid. Haaland is, in my eyes, and I'm sure most of your eyes, in all meanings of the word, world class.